The inspiration for my book, One Summer Crete, came to me about 2 summers ago when I was in Cyprus actually, and I met a couple of friends of mine who had just returned from the island of Icaria on their holiday, and they came with amazing stories about this magical island. People lived to be 100 years old in great health, and they were all still having sex and frolicking around and being unstressed. And I thought, wow, that sounds like an amazing place to visit and possibly set a story at. And then there was another thing that happened. I kept meeting these young women who, in their mid-30s, they'd been married or in long-term relationships, and they were beginning to reassess their life about having children, and perhaps their partners were not on the same page. And I thought that was interesting as well, like a sociological situation. And then there was the third thing, which was Crete, which I've always loved and wanted to visit, and I hadn't. And I thought, I want to set a story in Crete. So the three things together, combined, got me thinking. And I started writing, and then I went to visit the places, and then the story developed from that. And I hope it's an interesting enough story, and I hope you all like it. This chapter takes place on the island of Icaria in 2018, in July, when the blood moon eclipse was about to take place. On Friday morning, the day of the eclipse, just as the sun was appearing above the line of the horizon, Maya picked up Kali in her yellow open-top Citroën 2CV and set off for the village of Ione to visit the fated spot where Icarus had lost his wings. Equipped with her camera, notebook and swimsuit, Kali could hardly believe her luck. "Glad to see you didn't forget to bring your bikini," Maya shouted cheerfully over the car engine as they chugged along the twisting country roads. "Every beach you will drive past, you'll want to dive into," she added, pointing towards an emerald cove just beneath them. "It's wonderful to know that this ancient amphitheatre is still in use," Maya said when they arrived at their destination. "Can you imagine sitting here to watch a performance?" She gestured at the semicircle of steps around them and then pointed out to the shimmering sea towards the stone marking the spot where Icarus fell. Kali stood mutely, gazing at the rock. The sight of that monolith rising from the sea, no more than 50 yards from where she was now standing, made her head swell and her vision blur. She had no warning of the impact this could have on her. The noise of the wind sighing through her ears, the hot sun beating down on her, and the sunlight playing on the water flickered like wings of 1,000 birds. She closed her eyes and stumbled back. Maya rushed to her aid. With her arm around her shoulders, she led her to the steps of the amphitheatre. They sat together for a long while without words. The older woman was the first to break the silence. "You have much pain in your heart, my friend." She reached for a bottle of water in her bag and handed it to Kali. "I sensed it from the moment I saw you." She hesitated. "You're grieving for your loss." "I know, like the father of this wretched boy grieved for his loss so long ago." The younger woman sat mutely with her eyes tightly shut. The rectangular column emerging from the sea had looked nothing less than a tombstone to her, a humble monument marking the death of a beloved child, any child whose life had been cut short. When she opened her eyes again, 2 large tears ran down her cheeks. The longest total lunar eclipse of the 21st century proved to be every bit as magnificent, magical, and as awe-inducing as had been promised. At first, the moon rising from the sea was no more spectacular than the other two ascents Kali had witnessed on the island. But as the upward journey progressed, so did its audience excitement and anticipation. As the hour grew late, Maya leaned close and whispered into Kali's ear. "When the eclipse begins, you must enter into the sea and make your wish." "What? Why? What wish?" she stammered, confusion evident in her face. "The wish you want to make, you know, the one that always brings the tears to your eyes," she replied. "You must walk into the water, facing the east," Maya instructed mysteriously, "and ask Raphael to grant you your wish. But be specific, don't be vague. Ask for exactly that which you desire, and he will hear you." Kali, once again, thrown by Maya's words, said nothing. Her head was swimming with unfamiliar thoughts, as it had done earlier on Icarus's rock. She sat silent and motionless, gazing at the constellations in the night sky for a long while. Then, as the earth's shadows slowly began to pass over the moon, masking and transforming it into a dark crimson globe, Maya's words suddenly became clear. She scrambled to her feet, stripped off her t-shirt and ran towards the water. She stood for a moment in the shallow surf, looking up at the moon, at the blood moon, then slowly started to walk into the sea, murmuring words almost like a prayer. The evening breeze blew through her hair and caressed her arms, which were raised to the sky. She stretched them higher and felt weightless. The wind seemed to pull her up, effortless by her extended arms, towards the moon. The deeper into the sea she waded, the more the sensation of being lifted increased, until she was floating above the water, as if she had grown wings. "Please, Raphael," she whispered, and looked down at the silvery beam of light illuminating the sea. "Please, Raphael," she repeated into the hot night air and closed her eyes. "By the power of this moon, send a good man to love me and a baby in my womb." This part of the book is set in the 1950s in Crete, when a young girl called Frosso and a young boy called Cosmas arranged to meet. It was on a glorious day such as this, when the early spring sun had burned through the winter's gloom, that the two young lovers agreed to meet once more in their hideout and steal some sensuous moments alone. Frosso didn't go to school to collect her book that day. Instead, to save time, she made her way directly to the cave. The scent of blossom mingled with the aroma of wild thyme was intoxicating. She clambered down the hill through the low bushes and thorny shrubs to the cave. Cosmas was already there, waiting for her, having hidden his bicycle in the undergrowth among the yellow gorge and mimosa trees. They had held each other tight for the first time in months, their hearts thumping in their ears, filling them both with excitement and fear. They knew it was risky. They knew after what had happened last time it was madness. What if they had been seen? But their love was stronger than their fear, and finally, alone for the first time since their engagement was announced, they gave in to their passion. They were lying in each other's arms, knowing that they must soon set off on their way back home, when they heard rustling in the bushes outside. Frosso let out a cry and brought her hand to her mouth. Cosmas, holding her hand, stood up, then releasing her hand and taking a deep breath, stepped towards the entrance of the cave. There, his figure, silhouetted, dark and menacing against the light, stood Mitros, brandishing a knife.